in Clontibret. Today is the Gormley UPVC Intermediate Football Championship final between Sean McDermott and Carrick Macross Emmons. It's a wee bit misty and overcast at the moment, just a slight breeze, but I can tell you that inside the ground the crowd are packing in there. Outside they are still arriving, and as you can see from looking around you, the car park, which is the training field, is filling up each side on the roadway as we made our way into the grounds. It's pretty packed as well. Everybody, I think, today are anticipating yet another epic in this what has been a marvellous championship season in Monaghan. Yet another championship day in Monaghan. This is the intermediate, John, and well, you've been blessed with good Sundays right through this finals campaign so far.
Yeah, it's a bit cold, a bit chilly today. Conditions are good, a bit slippy. Hope the fog doesn't come down. The game itself, I'm looking forward to another good game. Close again, I think. Prediction this time. Carrick, probably experienced team, probably stronger team. Sean's a nice, attractive team, play football when they get forward. They pass it around a lot. So I suppose it's the old, more experienced team against the young, eager team, I'd say.
Now, in the semi-final against Clones over in Scottstown on a very, very hot Saturday about 4 weeks ago, Sean's amassed a huge total, something like 323 or 324. That in itself, you know, it speaks volumes. Yeah,
as I say, they're an attractive attacking team, and I was at the previous Sean's and Carrick League match, and Sean's only quite handy below on their own ground. Now, Carrick would have a couple of strong players back since that, John Conlon and Dennis Connolly. They'll probably make a difference today. As John Conlon has county experience, and Dennis Connolly was in the Monaghan 21 team years ago, so they'll be looking to them today, I suppose, to improve that performance anyway.
The introduction at centre half back of John in the semi-final against Drumhowan, they were struggling a bit at the time. He came in, sewed it all up, and they went on from there, but it was a very tight finish.
Tight finish, yeah, that was a tough game, that game. John, of course, is a fella that keeps himself in great shape. You know, he'd been away there for the summer. He started the year early on, but he's in good shape. Like, he's still at his prime. So, yeah, he'll make a difference today.
So you're looking forward to another great clash?
Another great clash, and being a member of the Carrick Macross Club, not that I wish both teams the best, but I'll be hoping for a Carrick win today anyway.
John Scully, we'll probably talk to you later. I spent a lot of last Sunday talking to this man here, John Conley, Vice Chairman of the County Board. I think I've got it right this time. John, things went very well over in Curtin last Sunday, and judging by the huge crowds that's packing into O'Neill Park in Clontibret today, this is going to be another good one.
That's quite correct, Tommy. We had a large crowd last Sunday, and the weather was good to us, and it's good to us here today in the intermediate final, and indeed in the Crawley final here before the match, McKeown Cup, final here before with Corduff and Drumhowan. So it's all set for a good evening's entertainment here.
John, I said some time ago, and I keep repeating it, the people of Monaghan, they support and play their football with a passion that's second to none.
Oh, that's unquestionable, yes. Especially the two teams that are playing here in the final of the Intermediate Championship. Carrick Macross, who have dropped down from senior last year, have a passion to go back up there as anyone would. And Sean's are very, very supportive. They support their club immensely. They're here from all ages, from very young to very old, and I can see a large crowd here today.
John Conley, if you could take over from Colin Gormley for a moment, and I'll have a word with him now. This championship sponsored by Gormley UPVC. Sponsorship, Colin, means so much nowadays, and there's something else that means an awful lot to you. You've done the double, senior and minor, in the last couple of weeks. It's great times in this part of the country.
Well, it's very hard to say anything. You said it all there in one word, a couple of words. A brilliant time for us. Yeah, unbelievable. Like any year you win a championship is brilliant, but any year you win a double is very special. And going back to what you said earlier about sponsoring the team, yeah, well, I'm glad to be part of the association, and I always followed. I even backed minors a few years, and then on to intermediate, and it's good to be a part of it. And that's what it's all about. If we all play our wee part, that's what football's all about. And it takes so much now to run football, and if every business does a wee bit, it's only better for the sport.
And better is getting. This is my second year of covering the Monaghan Championships. I've done championship games throughout all the Connacht counties, Longford, various places, and in Cavan. And I'm so impressed, as I said to John Connolly, with the passion that it's supported and played.
Well, I think you've said it again. Definitely, I think this is what GE is all about. You cannot buy these feelings. Like I'm involved, like even from a business point of view, and like the special feeling that you get from last week. I got last week before. My job as chairman of the club and being part of the county board and all. You can't buy them feelings. And the passion that anybody says football's going down, it's getting better. It's getting higher, and the belief in people, and it brings communities together, and that's what the GE is all about.
Callum Gormley, you've got a busy day ahead of you. You've had a few hectic weeks behind you. Thanks a million for talking to us.
They're enjoyable. Thanks.
John Connolly back again.
Just, Tommy, it'd be remiss of me here to maybe introduce you here to Ailish McEntee, just chairperson of the juvenile board here in the county, plus just secretary of the Sean's Club, and I think you maybe just say a few words to Ailish here.
Ailish, if you can come my way, talking to the lads earlier, and I was so impressed with Sean's in that semi-final against Clones a few weeks ago. But Sean's are a club with a great tradition and a club that deserve the support of everybody.
Yeah, that's certainly true, because from the beginning of the year they've trained very hard. They started early in January, and there was great commitment. Players travelled from Dublin, and they certainly deserve to do very well today, and hopefully they will.
I've seen throughout other counties where clubs are built and based around a few families. And, well, Sean's is sort of no exception in that. You've got the Coyles, you've got the Larkins, you know, several names, several relationships and connections through. It leaves them even more closely knit than when they come from a wider, broader sector.
That's certainly true. We come from quite a small parish of Kilmore and Snatcurve in the area of Kirkcahan and Tringham House, and there's great comradeship between everybody, and this occasion certainly brings all the people of the parish together.
Thank
you.
Gary, I like talking to Gary before and after games. It's a final day, and as I said to some of the lads earlier, you've been blessed with weather for all your finals so far.
Yes, we have indeed. We've had great weather for the senior and junior finals. Today is fine so far, a little bit dull, but hopefully that the rain will stay off until after the intermediate final. But it's a great setting here in O'Neill Park in Clontibret. It's a venue that we have used quite a lot during the course of 2002. The facilities here are fantastic. The weather, of course, dictated to a large extent that we would use here this year, given the difficulty in locating alternative pitches because of that. But nonetheless, I think the setting is here ready for a tremendous final, a tremendous conclusion to the intermediate football championship of 2002 with two very, very fine teams with great records and great traditions, Carrick and Sean McDermott.
You've got the programme open there, and we'll just take a little look through it, and it's the teams, and we'll talk about a few of the players. Now, over the years, I have from Carrick Macross, I've seen players like Declan Smith, John O'Connor, John Conlon has been mentioned, but it's a team effort. But they are such an inspiration to a club. Andrew Callan, his free taking, things like that for Carrick Macross, they'll be vital today, Gary.
Absolutely, and it is a team effort though, as you say, but as you say also there are a number of players who have shone through over the years, both at club level and the county level as well. But in addition to that, I think it's important too that there are increasingly a number of players in Carrick Macross who are shining through as well, particularly at underage level at county scene over the last number of years. You've mentioned Andrew Callan there, all right, players also like James Conlon in the middle of the field who had an exceptional year in terms of the underage level and minor level. As you say, you've Declan Smith, you've Stephen Gollagy as well, another player who's shining through there too, James Kernan and Terry Kernan, the captain. Of course, one on the Sean McDermott side as well, we have Niall McGough, whose power at the middle of the field I think could be crucial in determining this game. James Kyle, of course, who's featured at different stages at county level as well, and of course the Larkins, Damien and Adrian and Gary, and of course the Emma McElvany and Paddy Tillman's and Stephen Kyle well. So it's very much, indeed, in many cases, and certainly looking at the Shawns, it's a family effort. A number of families there contributing significantly to the Shawns line out. Again, it's a rural parish, and will attract strong support from right across that rural parish of Kilmore and Dunsnat. And certainly I think it augurs well for a very good final here today, because it has been a very good intermediate football championship right from the very start. But the two favourite teams from the start have emerged here today for the final, and hopefully it will produce a thrilling encounter.
And something's got to go. One has to be beaten. Neither have been beaten in the championship so far this season, Gary.
Well, today, possibly barring a draw, today will be the determining factor on that, all right. But I think that before that's decided, I think, and I certainly hope that we will have a very enjoyable and sporting game of football, and that football will be the winner.
Garamahagat Gary Carr. So it's limber up time, and of course I did mention Clontibret's training pitch, which is just across the road from the playing field, and we'll just take a shot of it now. So, as I've already mentioned, the training field also being used as a car park, and that in itself is an indication of the quality of the ground that it is. Both teams are out here doing their preparations. The Carrick Macross team in their green and gold, they're up there now, and I think by this stage most of the things that have to be said are already said. Sean McDermott's, they're just going through their paces now, and well, the next couple of hours is a very, very big and important day in the lives of these men. Senior football beckons, and with the quality of the senior football that we've seen over the past couple of years, it's going to be a great challenge. I was speaking to Hugh McIlvaney a week ago, and he was really chuffed at the thoughts of a Sean McDermott side featuring in the Monaghan Senior Championship. He, of course, looking forward to 2003. This Carrick Macross team back here to our right, I've already spoken about some of them to Gary Carville, and well, what can one say? They're well balanced, they're full of confidence, but who will be champions in a few hours' time?
Yeah, I did breakfast, dinner and tea, still in the house. I can't get rid of him.
What is this?
You. Father would have put the house, he's sitting in the sitting room.
What's it? Yeah. Paddy Hughes is on duty here today. It's going to be busy. It's been busy already, and it's going to be much busier. I've been talking to Colm Gormley and a few. This has been a great year for Clontibret, the senior and the minor championships. Padder, things are really looking up.
Certainly are looking up. It's been a wonderful year for our senior team to win the championship after a lapse of 5 years, coming with a brand new team. Our minors making it 3 in a row, which is very, very hard to achieve. Only been done once before by Castleblinny. And let's not forget that our under 13s won the Division 2 last Saturday, completing 3 cups already this year. And that's the seedbed of all our teams in the future at juvenile level, and there's tremendous work, as you can see, being done here both off the pitch and on the pitch, and that's what brings success to our club, and that's the most important thing, is working with juveniles, bringing them through to minors and then developing to our senior team.
And speaking of youth, you have a great youth policy here, but to see so many youngsters, Desi Moon playing in last Sunday's minor final, playing a senior as well. You know, when you've lads of 18 years, 19 years, like the Corey twins as well in there, there's just more than one championship expected from that side.
There certainly is, but that's the way things is at Clontibret. You know, we expect success every year, or we don't always get it, but that doesn't mean that we stop or that we don't keep working. We continue to do that, and players like the Currys and Desmond McGrone and loads of other players that have come through have had disappointment at juvenile level before, but it has never stopped them from developing, and from us from keeping working with them and encouraging them, and that's what brings on success. And we are pleased to have players of that calibre and every other calibre to help us out. And on the day in big games, you know, you need the hard-working players, you need the talented players, you need the gifted players, you need every sort to win, and that's been proven this year.
And let's not forget Brian Morgan, because, you know, mixing in with them young lads, and although he doesn't get a full game every day nowadays, he has been and will be for a long time a huge cog in the wheel.
Certainly so, and if you seen Brian Morgan at this year's county final, on the replay, not taking his place on the team, but he was there up and down the line. A lot of people thought he really was playing, because he went through all the emotions of playing and encouraging the players, and that's what Brian, we know, that's what we expect from Brian Morgan, really.
Paddy Hughes, you've got a great club, it's a great club to be part of, and let's hope that that continues for a long time to come.
They'll meet him after.
Go on, Sean!
So the McKenna family, as usual, very active on Championship Day. Valerie at the table. I would imagine that's an offspring there. Not quite sure. We'll check that out a little later on, perhaps. But as you can see, what I spoke about earlier, a huge crowd packing in here to O'Neill Park in Clontibret, and they're all anticipating just one thing, and that is a cracker. Now, already today, Drumhowan and Carduff are in action. That's a cracker as well, and I just cannot tell you what time has been played in the second half so far, but it's 13-11 at the moment. It's very tight. I'm going to talk to John Mullen. John, we meet once again, and I was just saying, we were outside and around the training pitch and talking to a few people, and there's another one just popping over. That's putting another one on. It's 14-11 at the moment for Drumhowan against Carduff. I was in for about 10 minutes of the first half, in which Carduff made a great comeback from being 3 or 4 points down. We'll move on and we'll talk about the intermediate, as the big one on today. Now, Carrick and Sean's both out there in the training field at the moment preparing. And it is, as always, at a Monaghan Championship match, John, a huge crowd gathering in.
Oh, the day suits, Tommy. I'm looking forward to a very big crowd here today. In fact, conditions are ideal once again, as you can see. There's no wind and no rain, so we're looking forward to a very open game of football. And no doubt we're the two best teams in the final here, because looking at the league tables, you'll see that Sean's are in top spot and Carrick are just behind them. So we're the two best teams here today, and so it should be a great game. And
as I said to Gary earlier on, two teams unbeaten in the championship so far. Something's got to go, but not necessarily today, John.
No, it could be a replay, you know, the way things are in Monaghan this year. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it's a replay, in fact, because I think there'll be very, very little between them. Of course, Sean's had a very facile win over Cronus in the semi-final. Well, that's a good thing or a bad thing for them, I don't know, time will tell. I suppose Carrick, on the other hand, had to work very, very hard against Drumhowan, and maybe they had a little bit of luck on the day that they actually won, but they're a very, very experienced team, Carrick. They have a lot of players that played in the senior final 3 years ago here playing today, and they could just become to a peak here today. So Sean's I'm sure, will be very, very well prepared, and depends how, if they're psychologically well prepared going out in the pitch, they've as good a chance as Carrick will win the match.
It's 4 weeks since the semi-finals. Sometimes that's a little too long.
Well, I suppose circumstances conspired that be the case due to one thing and another with the fixtures. It wasn't an original plan, but for the ladies doing so well and all that, and put fixtures back to a week.
but they had a league game there last weekend. Both teams a very good league game each, so I'm sure that has helped them enormously.
That will keep them sharp.
Yeah.
John Mullen, got a millimacha.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
We're picking up a picture of the Father Pat McCormick Cup. That's the trophy for today's Intermediate Football Championship final, and it commemorates one of the most fervent Gaels in the history of the GAA in County Monaghan. A native of Emmy Vale, where his family owned a public house on Main Street. Now, the battle for this will commence about 3:30. Sean McKenna, are you with me? Once again, we've been looking through the programmes, and once again, let me say congratulations to you and your team. And if the football can live up to the quality of the programmes that have been produced, we're in for yet another cracker.
Yes, this is my final programme of the year, and to be honest with you, I'm delighted for making our last programme. This for the last month has been hard work, but at the end of the day, the end product, we're happy with it. It's another teamwork effort from the Communications Committee, JP Graham, Hannah McMahon, all the other members of the committee that rode in and helped, and we hopefully the people attending today's game, especially the Carrick and Sean McDermott supporters, they will be able to get a bit of value out of this programme and looking back on it in years to come.
Sean, I know you're a very busy man. You've got a lot of duties to tend to. Over the championship season, let me say that for me, it has been a pleasure meeting you. It has been a pleasure talking to you. And let's hope that we can do it all sometime again.
Please God, and thanks very much for your assistance all year. I very much appreciate it. Yourself and Pat, you've been very good to us, very cooperative, and no doubt hopefully we'll be together as a team again next year.
Sean McKenna, good mahagat. So, Vice Chairman of the County Board, John Conley, presents the McKeown Cup to Drumhowan. They've got two men up there. Referee for the big one is Jared McCarron, and here come the Carrick Macross team out onto the field.
Has been a gold ring, a gold diamond ring has been handed in. If any lady who has lost a gold diamond ring can collect the same here at the balcony, it's the wrestling.
So Carrick are now lining up here for their pictures. So as we take the picture of the Carrick Macross Emmets, linesmen at today's game are Darren McQuillan, the standby referee Martin O'Callaghan of Curran, the umpires Sean McQuillan, Seamus Sherry, Seamus Reid and Porrick Trainer. So the Emmets move way down to the scoreboard end. That's what they're going to do. They're warming up prior to this intermediate championship final. In just a few seconds from this other door up here will emerge Sean McDermott's. So the honking of the horns in the background will tell you that the Sean McDermott's team are just coming out onto the field, lining up now to pose for the pre-match photographs. A question that might be answered in the next hour and a half or so. Who will be posing for the post-match photographs? So as Sean's, just like the Emmets did, prepare for this intermediate championship final, we'll make our way around to our video stand. But before we go, we'll also take a shot of the Clontibret O'Neill's pipe band. Sit up. And to play on the team's breakaway, it's Sean McDermott in their saffron and white. It's Carrick McCross Emmett in their green and gold. One change in personnel from the printed programme on each team. On the Sean's team, number 18, Michael McGuinness, comes in to replace number 2, Stephen Coyle. And on the Carrick McCross team, number 8, Dennis Canley, comes in to replace number 12, Stephen Conlon. So with the national anthem over, the crowd wait in great anticipation. The teams will take up their positions. And we will pick up some faces in the crowd. The referee, Jerry McCarran, sets his watch. We start ours rolling and the intermediate championship final is on as Mark McEntee drives the ball down inside. Sean's getting the first free in of the game. Damien Larkin, the player who was fouled, is the player who is going to take the free. Is this the opening score? No. The answer is no. So Robert Honey will take the kick out. His regular goalkeeper's jersey would have clashed somewhat with the Sean's colours, so he is wearing a blue and gold number 6. That line ball is going to drop right inside to Gary Larkin, and the ball handled on the ground, and there's a free out. Noel Swinburne will left foot that one out. Now it is a greasy surface because there was a very heavy overnight mist. Stephen Gallagly gets the free and gets it up to Captain Terry Kieran. Terry Kieran feeds it across, but going across there now is Sean's Paddy Tierney. A long one down for Adrian Larkin to chase. Adrian will be confronted out there by John Cannell, and the ball is laid back inside to Gordon Finnegan, and now trying to come away with it and picking it up and coming away with it, taking the shot. Paddy Kiernan, it's broken down inside, and Owen Sherry is back there to clear it out. That's too strong for John O'Connor, but Stephen Gallagly is there for Carrick McCross Emmett to feed it up the field nicely. Paul Atchison battling for it there with Andrew Callan is going to take the free, and Andrew Callan, that's a well-placed ball way up there for Declan Smith to run out onto, but the ball rolling it over the end line. I can tell you that Dennis Connolly is actually playing at full forward. Declan Smith is in the left corner, I think. Well, difficult to know because in the semi-final, if I can remember, Carrick McCross played with a two-man full forward line. Paddy Tierney is back there playing a cornerback position and being confronted by none other than Declan Smith. Right now Andrew Callan is going down under pressure. So Dennis Conley releasing the ball back to Andrew Callan. He will kick this one left-footed. It's still scoreless here after almost 4 minutes of play in the first half. This one is up between the 20 and 13 metre lines, just a few metres in from the sideline, but a pretty good angle for a left-footed kicker. Now, although the buntings, which the Clontibret club have up for part of the celebrations, are fluttering somewhat in the breeze, it has very little effect. Eddie Masterson collects that to his chest, clears it out. Michael McGuinness is out there near the end line, feeding the ball further out. Now, the referee has blown the whistle as Sean's tried to come forward. The ball did go out over the sideline on the far side, but there had been a foul back there. The big man, Niall McGurk, is fouled. Of course, another very big man in there was Derek McMahon, and one of the not so bigger men on the field of play today. Oisín, let's see who's down. It's Gary McEntee who is down. Just trying to piece things together. I was looking out while there was a break at Oisín Gartland, and I think he may have figured at centre half in the semi-final. Not quite sure. This is Carrick's centre half today, John Conlon. Now the ball is about to be cleared out the field, and James Kiernan will boot that one up, way up the field. Now Andrew Callan and Paul Atchison were battling for it, but nipping in to get it there was Michael McGuinness. Now that's Derek McMahon, lays it back to Mark McEntee, and McEntee now for Sean, right down through the middle. Owen Sherry meets it there for Carrick, and Terry Kiernan will play that one way up. Coming across there is Paddy Tierney, and now Derek McMahon for Sean's laid it off to Gary McEntee. He was very effective in the semi-final against Clones, but that one is much too strong for either Adrian or Gary Larkin to get to. It's out over the end line and it has gone wide. The scoreboard down there, Statoil and Moor Oils. It remains blank at the moment. 6.5 minutes played in the first half. Robert Honey will kick this for Carrick Macross. Niall McGurk, it cannons off McGurk. Ball booted way up the field there. A push on Gordon Finnegan, and Gordon tries to get it in towards Andrew Callan, but Paul Atchison is there. Atchison, well, the referee has blown the whistle, has awarded the free now. Paul has kicked the ball away. What will the referee do? Will he? It's going to be from where the foul was committed. It's Andrew Callan who's going to take it. Eddie Masterson reached, but not quite high enough as it sailed over his crossbar. So the Emmets have opened the scoring on 7.5 minutes in the first half. Just right in front of us on the sideline at the moment is that great ambassador of Monaghan football, Nudie Hughes. He's the Sean's manager. From the 20-metre line, it's kicked by Eddie Masters, and out towards the middle of the field. Mark McEntee tried to knock it on. Pádraig Rafferty was there and getting good support. Driving forward now at a defence. John Conlon feeding the ball way up towards Declan Smith. Smith taking it as the challenge has gone in from Paddy Tierney. That's going to be a great battle now. A little bit of retaliation on the referee. Jerry McCarran has decided to throw the ball up. As Oisín Gartland tried to break away, he was held. There's a free to Carrick Macross Emmets. They lead by 1 point. This man who is about to take the free, the scorer of that one, McDermott's, have yet to score. We've played almost 9 minutes, and kicking my mind back to the semi-final, well, McDermott's had quite a score amassed in the opening 9 minutes. That's a huge kick. That's a tremendous kick from Andrew Callan. We spoke about him before the game. He, with his frees, would be such an influence on this final for Carrick Macross. He's notched 2 already, and we've played just about 9.5 minutes. Eddie Masterson's kick. Trying past just new, and The free is going Sean's way. Michael McGuinness would appear to be the one who is going to take it, wearing number 18, playing out at right half back. Well, he has decided against it, so the big man in the middle, Niall McGurk, feeds it inside. Now it was Adrian Larkin. Adrian Larkin slipping away. He's a very elusive forward. He takes the kick. He sends it over the bar from a pretty acute angle. It's 2 points to 1, 10.5 minutes played. Out it comes, and it's Carrick with James Conlon feeding the ball up. Paddy Tierney in there, Declan Smith in there to challenge the ball, breaking free, and it's Carrick Macross. Now Andrew Callan has moved away across to the far side. Declan Smith will drop that one nice across now, well taken and kicked by James Conlon, but gone slightly to the right and gone wide. As we await the kick out, I was looking out towards the middle of the field and I saw John Conlon there just issuing out some instructions. His introduction in the semi-final had such an influence on Carrick Macross and on that game. What influence can he have today? That ball is broken down now. Paddy Kiernan coming out to meet it. There was another Kiernan, that was Carrick's James. Paul Atchison and Andrew Callan neither get it. Declan Smith feeds the ball into Ali Callan. He takes the shot for Carrick Macross and scores it. That's their first from play. That's his third. Paul Atchison of Sean McDermott's is injured. Some more switches. Gary McEntee is lining up now at, well, maybe he's been there all the time because Damien Larkin is in the corner and he is now switching around and about. Adrian has gone top of the left. Damien has gone full forward. I think Gary has gone top of the right. All this time Paul Atchison is being attended to. Now, substitutes limbering up, and Paddy McMahon is there to take the pictures at the other end of the field. Eddie Masterson is ready to take the kick out. Grabbed by Niall McGurk, a towering figure as he lays the ball back there. Now, Michael McGuinness, but that's intercepted. Stephen Gollogly is back there now, and Stephen, a very elusive and impish type of player. Declan Smith tried to break the ball for Oisin Gartland. Eamon Coyle was there battling for it. Declan Smith picks it up for Carrick Macross and wisely lays the ball back, and then Gollogly will put that in, tried to feed it into Dennis Conley. It's gone near the end line. It's been shepherded by James Coyle, and well, James, very experienced and very capable fullback on the Sean's team. So Eddie Masterson prepares to kick out once again for Sean McDermott. I'll check the time. We're almost halfway through the first half, and it's Carrick who lead by 3 points to 1. But it's Sean's now. Mark McEntee just touching the ball back there to Emmett McIlvany. Jerry McCarron in with just a quick word in passing to Oisin Gartland. So Emmett jabs it short in and takes the return from Niall McGurk, and then to deliver a long one out onto the far side. Terry Kiernan is there, and the captain of the Yamets now being challenged in there by Derek McMahon as they try to advance as they play the ball up towards Dennis Conley. It breaks now for Stephen Gallogly, and Gallogly will float that one in, but waiting back there and collecting is Niall McGurk. Niall McGurk gets it out to Paddy Tierney. Paddy Tierney is held, and there's a free out to Sean. He'll take that himself and he'll send it down and ask Gary McEntee to chase after it, which he does, and Gary McEntee out near the sideline, hooking it inside, and that ball ballooned away back out the field, but it's now flicked up in there by Paddy Kieran. Paddy Kieran now going forward for Sean. Still Paddy Kieran going forward, sending it in, sending it over the bar. It's 3 points to 2. Wearing number 15, but playing at centre half forward. He wore the number 11 and played at centre half forward when I saw him in the semi-final, and I was very impressed. His distribution of the ball, his vision, well, as well as that, his score taking. So Carrick, Emmett's are 3, Sean McDermott's are 2. There's 17 minutes played in the intermediate final, and it's James Canlon who will send a long one up. Going to bounce all inside for Andrew Callan. Oh, but Paddy Tierney read it well and got it out to Michael McGuinness. And now James Coyle will feed it on for Niall McGurk, who couldn't take it. John O'Connor, another man with a vast amount of experience, up to the full forward, who is actually playing in the corner, Declan Smith. Declan Smith's kick is tailing off, and it's going wide.
No, Gary, let them into the inside. Come on, let's start further. Gary, come on, get the run. Gary, right there.
A lot of interchanging of the Larkins in the full forward line for Sean McDermott. Sean's get a free now, and Niall McGurk takes it, and Big Niall sends it in, but John Conlon was there. John Conlon for Carrick Macross, playing it again up to Andrew Callan. Callan keeping it playing near the sideline, tackled tight by Paul Atchison, but fouled in the process.
Huh? It's in the car. Right.
Andrew Callan. This one is tailing off to the right and has gone wide. So it remains 3 points to 2. 19 minutes have gone in this first half of the Gormley UPVC Intermediate Football Championship Final. The pleasant and beautiful surroundings of O'Neill Park in Clontibret. If we look across past the presentation stand over to the trees on the far side, the colouring of the autumn leaves prior to their fall. Speaking of fall, who is going to fall today? The indications are that it's going to be very, very close. James Coyle, well-placed ball out to Emmett McIlvany. McIlvany going forward. A nice pass inside. The slippery surface but Damien Larkin back inside, and Emmett McIlvany has levelled it up. A great score from the overlapping left half back, Emmett McIlvany. Newly accused beneath me would know all about overlapping from a half back position. He played there for his county. He played also in the corner forward position. 20 minutes and they're level at 3 points apiece. And Robert Honey prepares to take the kick out. Out towards the centre, John O'Connor will lay it off for Dennis Conley. Dennis Conley feeding it through, but couldn't quite pick out his man, and James Coyle's clearance out over the sideline. John Conlon sending the line ball across into the middle, but couldn't quite pick out a colleague. That was well read by Michael McGuinness. Eamon Coyle prepares to take the free and sends it out now. Derek McMahon, tall, rangy wing forward as he drops it way down into the corner. Kendall Larkins grab it, and it's Damien who does, but the ball broken away from him. Oh, that's intercepted in there by Gary. Gary fits it right across into the net. Into the net from Damien Larkin. They are so sharp. They are so alert. Sean McDermott's 1-3. Carrick Macross Emmett's 3 points. That came on 21.5 minutes. A crowded midfield area from the knockdown. Stephen Gollagly of Carrick Macross plays it up. Paddy Tierney knocked it down, but only to an opponent. This is Gordon Finnegan laying it back to Declan Smith. Declan Smith has got Gollagly to his right. He turns the other way and jabs it into the path of James Conlon. It remains 1-3 to 3 points. Eddie Masterson's kick, the variation of kick out. Eamon Coyle couldn't hold on to it. John O'Connor of Carrick Macross passes it inside. There's a push in the back on Eamon Coyle, the Sean centre half. And Paul Atchison with the free quickly down, but too quickly. That was Terry Kieran, the Carrick Macross Emmett's captain, up to Andrew Callan. Callan now, he will once again be confronted by Atchison. Where is that going? Off the upright. Now Jerry McCarron has spotted a little bit of eyeball to eyeball between James Coyle and Andrew Callan, and just a quiet word. So much at stake here. They both dearly would love to win this intermediate final, and neither one would like to say that they were first to lose in this year's championship. Gordon Finnegan across put John Conlon under pressure. Emmett McIlvany and then Gary McEntee. McEntee is fouled. The free is taken quickly inside, but Owen Sherry will roll it out. Picked up and laid off by Terry Kiernan to John Conlon. Conlon looks for support, gets it from John O'Connor. O'Connor turning in midfield. The hand pass off there to Oisin Gartland. Gartland trying to break away. John O'Connor His kick is blocked down. It's Niall McGurk who blocks it, and Niall McGurk straight back to Carrick possession of John Conlon, up to Andrew Callan. Callan will hook that one inside. Declan Smith breaks it down, but James Coyle is there. Coyle tackled, and Eddie Masterson comes into play, gets the clearance out now for Derek McMahon, and Derek got support from Michael McGuinness, but where was Adrian Larkin? Back on his own 45-metre line, picking up possession and carrying the ball downfield. Now, Paddy Kiernan. Paddy Kiernan trying to draw the defenders. Damien Larkin. Gary has made himself available. Not anymore, he's been closed down. That's hooked across into the middle. Pádraig Rafferty taking it and clearing it out. Stephen Gollogly now latching on to James Kiernan's clearance, and Stephen trying to break away. Martin O'Callaghan had been waving the flag, but Jerry McCarron allowed the advantage, and it's Sean's who've got possession now with Niall McGurk in to Gary Larkin. Lead off for Paddy Kieran. Paddy Kieran has been held. Damien Larkin. 1-4 to Sean McDermott. 3 points to Carrick Macross Emmett. Almost 27 minutes played. As Robert Honey kicks that out to the centre of the field. John Conlon got a touch on it. Now James trying to break away with it. Stephen Gollogly in with the support up to John O'Connor. A little bit of mishandling. Dennis Conley will feed the ball up to Andrew Callan. Has he switched across to the left side? Well, he roams across that line. The ball passed inside to Gordon Finnegan. Finnegan will kick it from out the field, dropping it in. Eddie Masterson coming out under pressure, and Declan Smith. Just an indication of how greasy the surface is. Oisin Gartland near the end line, but back there defending was Derek McMahon. Out it comes to Paddy Kieran. Paddy under pressure from John Conlon, and still the ball hasn't come up. Now it is Terry Kiernan. Terry Kiernan, they play on. Ball chipped nicely forward by Noel Swinburne. Added to by Dennis Conley. Mark McEntee out to Michael McGuinness. That's punted down the centre. Damien Larkin alert to what might happen. Now for Gary McEntee, back to Damien. Damien near the sideline, held by Pádraig Rafferty. The free quickly taken, into Gary Larkin. It cannons off, and Damien Larkin still in after it. Gone down, the referee's going to throw it up. That was a clash of bodies there. No quarters being given or asked for. It's now time to indicate what stoppage time will be. There's a minute of normal time left. We'll soon see what time will be added as John O'Connor tries to get up to Oisin Gartland. Ball slips away. Emmett McIlvanny is in. McIlvanny, and the referee is going to speak to James Conlon. Has that board gone up yet, Pat? It's about to. I make it that we've a half a minute of normal time left. Jerry McCarron has already indicated what time he's adding on. Niall McGurk is about to take the free. We'll follow the play as the ball is tapped down inside. Now, Terry's clearance was come up. There will be a minimum of 2 minutes. A minimum of 2 minutes to be added on. Sean McKenna, I'm sure, will announce that, or somebody up there on the presentation stand. Noel Swinburne going in there on Adrian Larkin. The free is to Sean McDermott. Derek McMahon will kick this one. Just jab kicks it short to Gary McEntee. Back inside, and McMahon now trying to weave his way through. There was a foot up. Gary McCarron spotted it. He's whistled it up for the free. We've played almost 40 seconds of that added time. A minimum of 2 minutes. So here comes the Sean McDermott free. Is this to put them further in front as we approach the half-time whistle? 1-5 to 3 points. They've moved into a 5-point lead. That last one from the big wing forward who wears 11, Derek McMahon. Out comes the kick from Robert Honey out to the centre. We've about a half a minute to go to the half-time whistle, and Declan Smith of Carrick Macross chased by Paddy Tierney. Declan Smith out near the sideline on the 13-metre line from a very acute angle. That's a huge point from Declan Smith. That's 1-5 to 4. 8-4 if we convert it into points. The 32 minutes are gone. So from this Eddie Masterson kick out, will Jerry McCarron blow that half-time whistle? He's had a good long hard look at his watches. He's calling for the ball to be kicked out. Thought for a moment he was calling for it, but it's to be kicked out. There goes the half-time whistle. And at half-time here in O'Neill Park in Clontibret, it's Sean McDermott's 1 goal and 5, Carrick Macross Emmett's 4 points.
The score, yesterday's score in the compromise rules, Ireland 39, Australia 20.
Martin.
So a wink and a smile from Martin O'Callaghan. And it's Meath men in arms as the new Monaghan manager, Colm Coyle and John Scully, make their way into the dugout beneath us. The teams are out and in position, the umpires, the linesman and the referee likewise. In a few seconds from now, the second half will be underway, and by 5 o'clock we will have a pretty clear indicator, I would imagine, as to who are the intermediate champions. That was allowing a few minutes of stoppage time when I counted it that way. Mark McEntee winning the ball and getting the free. Gary Larkin out to collect. Gary will play that away across to the far side for Damien to chase after. Damien, of course, being confronted by Owen Shelley. Oh, nice slip away there from Damien Larkin from a very acute angle. He tries the shot, but puts it right across the face of goal and wide. Out across the middle, and James Canlon brings it down and boots along one way down the field. John O'Connor is in the forward line. Declan Smith is in possession. So Carrick have made some changes. This is Terry Kiernan back. Oh, he tried to play it to Declan Smith. Declan trying to release the ball. Jerry McCarron waits and then gives the free in to Carrick McCross Emmett. Andrew Callan Eddie Masterson underneath it. getting it out. Emmett McIlvany. Niall McGurk was there with the support. That's tapped down, and it's Terry Kiernan to John Conlon. Conlon now laying it for Dennis Conley, and then John Conlon taking over once more as he feeds it into John O'Connor. O'Connor tries to break it for Gordon Finnegan. It slips away. Finnegan is after it, going to ground in possession, surrounded by Sean McDermott's players. The Coyles, James and Eamon are there. Referee Jerry McCarron has awarded the free in. Andrew Callan will take the free for a left-footed kicker. That would be a more favourable side of the field. This to put 3 between them. It's 1-5 to 0-5. Almost 3 minutes played in this second half. So Eddie Masterson now preparing to take the kick out. Out towards the middle, James Coyle brings it down, and Terry Kiernan will add it on inside to Declan Smith. Declan Smith being chased by Paddy Tierney. Declan Smith now trying to work his way in, has a look to see who's available, hooks it inside, and Big John O'Connor was jumping, but I think he was slightly impeded by one of his own men as well. The result being that Sean McDermott's win possession. Michael McGuinness going to ground. John O'Connor is down injured. As the ball was played in from Declan Smith, he looked to be favourite to get it, but it doesn't always work that way. The anxiety to win possession, perhaps players maybe not hearing a call. It's quite a noisy cauldron here at times in O'Neill Park in Clontibret. John O'Connor is back on his feet. Eddie Masterson to take the free out for Sean McDermott. Out towards the centre of the field, Niall McGurk taps it down, didn't quite hold, and it's John Conlon breaking away with it, chipping the ball inside. There seemed to be a little bit of holding going on in there, but Oisin Gartland getting the ball, releasing it now to Andrew Callan. Callan has a look, has a shot with the left foot that swings to the left and goes wide. So Eddie Masterson preparing to kick out for Sean McDermott. Out towards Niall McGurk. The ball broken down, and it's Oisin Gartland of Carrick Macross laying it off for John Conlon into Andrew Callan. Paul Atchison after him. Callan near the sideline. Atchison still sticking to his task. He's a good tight cornerback. He's got a huge task in his hands today, watching this man John O'Connor trying to knock it down. Oh, good work from James Coyle. James Coyle gets it out now for picking it up with Derek McMahon near the sideline. McMahon tackled by Stephen Gallagher. McMahon will lay the ball back. Now Paddy Kiernan was back helping Paddy Tierney. Paddy Kiernan handled the ball on the ground, and Stephen Gallagher anxious to get on with it, but Declan Smith steps in, and Declan to take the free, drops it inside to John O'Connor. James Coyle, was it? Yes, James got a hand to it, got it knocked out. Now Gary McEntee, good support coming in there now, and McEntee again will feed that one away up, but waiting all alone is Owen Sherry. Owen Sherry took a hand as he works his way out for Carrick McCross, delivers a long ball down towards Gordon Finnegan, knocks it into Declan Smith. Now Carrick McCross helmets are beginning to move. James Conlon onto the end of it. Conlon now confronted in there by Michael McGuinness. Declan Smith again, being chased by Paddy Tierney. Smith from out on the left, kicking it. And it got a touch. It's a 45. John Conlon, I think, might be the one who is preparing to take the 45. No, he won't. Declan Smith will come out to take it. If there were to be a penalty in this game for Carrick, Declan Smith would be the kicker, and on the other side, quite possibly Damien Larkin would be the kicker. Declan Smith has put that one over. There's now 2 points in it. Scoreboard man has got it wrong, but is now about to correct. (1-5-0-6), I think that's what it should be. It's gone. I'm still not quite sure if that's correct down there, but I'm sure it will be corrected, because it was Carrick who got that last score. Now the bounce beating Adrian Larkin, and the ball going out over the sideline. Terry Kiernan, and the referee whistling because there was a foul as the ball was being kicked. Now I think that scoreboard should read 1-5-0-6. It's now being changed. May God be good to the days of the manually operated ones. Now it reads, and he's got to change it again, because Andrew Callan has added another point, so it's 1-5-0-7. There's 1 point in it. So some more chopping and changing and switching around. As Eddie Masterson's kick comes out towards the centre of the field, and James Conlon is there for Carrick McCross, feeds it inside. Declan Smith coming out, Declan Smith collecting it there. Paddy Tierney challenges, Declan Smith still in possession, has a look, there's not much room. Oh, there's a great delivery inside to Terry Kiernan, back in there now to Dennis Conley. Dennis Conley's kick is going to level the match. I talked to those who know the game inside out before it started. They said a draw would not be a surprise. The sides are level at the moment. There's a long way to go though. We've played 11 and a half minutes in the second half. Eddie Masterson's kick. Out to the centre. James Conlon loading it at midfield for Carrick McCross since this second half commenced. But big Niall McGurk goes across to Rob. McGurk trying to break away. Advantage played by the referee as McGurk looks for Gary McEntee and finds him. McEntee now going forward. Drops it inside. Oh, that was well read. Back there by Noel Swinburne. And as Dennis Connolly was back there helping, so also was James Kiernan and Terry, their captain. And Terry Kiernan way down. That will reach Andrew Callan. Callan now, as Paul Atchison will challenge once more. Callan trying to draw the corner back. Still Callan. He shoots from long range. He scores from long range. And the Yamets are in front. Five unanswered points in 13 minutes of this second half. That's 9 points to 1-5. There's concern on the face of Nudie Hughes. The kick out comes out to Michael McGuinness. Up it goes to Gary McEntee. In it goes to Niall McGurk for Gary McEntee. McEntee going forward. Michael McGuinness supporting. McGuinness shrugs off the challenge. That's Derek McMahon. McMahon being chased by Noel Swinburne and held. It's edge of the seat stuff here. And Carrick have been punished for not moving away fast enough. This the chance for Derek McMahon to level it up here. He does that. 14 and a half minutes gone. Conor McIlvany is in the game. Mark McEntee has made way. Was that substitution made without consulting the umpire? That seems to be what that conversation was about. This is Declan Smith. It's all square here. Declan Smith going forward. Still Declan Smith trying to release the ball. Does that to Gordon Finnegan. Finnegan's kick is going across. That's well tucked out of the air by Oisin Gartland. Off the right foot and over the bar from Andrew Callan. Be at the left, be at the right. We spoke about this man before the game and what influence his scoring would have on this final. He has once again put the Yamets in front. "16 minutes played in the second half. James Conlon, a wonderful young footballer. So also is captain Terry Kiernan into Andrew Callan. Callan now trying to get away from Paul Atchison. Hooks it across in. John O'Connor will try and break it down. Eamon Coyle was there to get the ball out to Niall McGurk, who now feeds it up to Damien Larkin. Damien Larkin, players calling for it in the middle. Still Damien Larkin, about to kick from distance, but kick it left and kick it wide. Robert Honey to take the Carrick Macross kick out. off the hands of James Conlon, and Conor McIlvaney was there. Conor McIlvaney inside now to Gary Larkin. Gary Larkin being pursued by John Conlon. Oh, lovely slip away by Gary Larkin, but Conley, he's got pace. He's still there with him. Larkin's kick has gone over the bar. What a final! Sean's 1-7, Carrick Emmett 10 points. 17 and a half minutes played in the second half. We thought that there was drama and excitement in the senior final. This matches it kick for kick. Out again towards James Conlon. Terry Kieran is there. Terry Kieran now combining with James Conlon. Conlon trying to break away, kicks it high down the line. O'Connor comes across there with James Coyle, and it's James Coyle who is fouled in possession. James Coyle to take the free. Up towards Adrian Larkin, it's knocked down. Niall McGurk coming through. McGurk crosses the halfway line, lays it out into space. Damien Larkin out to meet it. Damien twisting, turning, trying to sell dummies. Passes the ball out now for Emmett McIlvaney. McIlvaney has a look. McIlvaney has a kick. It's going to go to the left and it's going to go wide. And it remains 1-7-10. Almost 19 minutes played in the second half. Robert Honey's kick. That breaks nicely for Porrick Rafferty. Rafferty. Down towards John O'Connor. O'Connor, the big man, being tackled in there now by James Coyle. Just shrugs him out of his way. Across into the middle. Ballaghy is onto the end of it, but doesn't break for him. It doesn't break for him, and Paddy Tierney got the ball out. Porrick Rafferty lays it back now to Terry Kieran. In it goes. Oisin Gartland to James Conlon. James Conlon, did he intend that? Andrew Callan will fill that space. Callan now off the left foot, kicking it high. This one is going to drift wide. My sympathy goes to those who have to choose man of the match today, because at the moment there are 30 very strong contenders out there. Again, the ball breaking, and Gordon Finnegan to Porrick Rafferty. Again, it's Andrew Callan. His name must be high on the list, win, lose or draw. This is Oisin Garton. Gordon Finnegan through the middle. A player built somewhat like James McCartan of Down. Oisin Garton puts the Emmett in front. Carrick Macross are about to make a substitution. Porrick Swinburne. Porrick Swinburne is going in to replace Gordon Finnegan. Out comes the kick out from Eddie Masterson. 11-17, the Emmets lead. The ball is rolling out over the sideline. Michael McGuinness will leave it to Niall McGurk to take. Almost 22 minutes played. Time absolutely flying past. Sideline ball for Noel Swinburne. Hang on a minute, says Jerry McCarron. Derek McMahon is explaining that there was a foot up in there, and Derek McMahon will take the kick for Sean McDermott. Dropping it in, they're underneath it inside. Oh, that was John Conlon who grabbed it and got it out to Porrick Swinburne. And now the ball is added to, booted away down the field. Conor McIlvany on the halfway line for Sean McDermott will bring it forward once more. They're a point in arrears. McIlvany playing it inside now to Damien Larkin. Larkin picking it up, feeding it into Gary. Gary Larkin now trying to make room, kicking it off the left foot. They're level again. 23 minutes played. There's 7 minutes of normal time to go. I looked at the other watch, which tell me that it's 10 minutes to 5. When I said we would have a pretty clear indicator as to who will be champions at 5 o'clock, I'm running it a bit tight. Robert Honey's kick. Conor McIlvany battling hard for it. Still Conor McIlvany near the sideline. Stephen Gallagher into challenge as McIlvany dropped that ball into Gary Larkin. It's broken down inside. James Conlon has made himself available. So also is Stephen Gallagher. I should have mentioned Owen Sherry because he was in there too. So also is Noel Swinburne. Now it's John Conlon. This is Porrick Rafferty into Andrew Callan. Lays it back. There's a free in. Porrick Swinburne checked on his run. Andrew Callan, can he, with this magical left foot, with 5.5 minutes of normal time left, put the Emmets in front once more? The answer is yes. Eddie Masterson. Out comes the kick. Niall McGurk grabs it. McGurk lays it off now for Damien Larkin. Damien Larkin playing it inside. Terry Kiernan is there. Out to John Conlon. John Conlon playing it out to the wing. Porrick Rafferty. Rafferty plays a low ball down. It'll slip past there. And Michael McGuinness is there to pick it up. His way is blocked. He's fouled and there's a free out to Sean McDermott. 12 points to Carrick, 1-8 to Sean's. Possession with Carrick Emmett. As Owen Sherry sends the ball down. That's a foul on Paul Atchison. Four minutes of normal time to go. Time passes so quickly when one is enjoying themselves. This is a sheer delight to be here for. Damien Larkin, John Conlon, and Conlon back in the right corner position. Gets it out to Captain Terry Kiernan. Good running through from Porrick Rafferty. Rafferty down towards Declan Smith. It will not reach him. A foot goes out from Declan Smith as Sean's player goes to the ground. Declan is in quickly to apologise. Three minutes of normal time remaining. This is a marvellous intermediate final. Eamon Coyle is back on his feet. James takes the free, sends it away out towards the sideline. James Conlon touches it on for Pádraig Swinburne, and Pádraig Swinburne is fouled. (12-11), that's how we'll call it. Just over 2 minutes of normal time to go. In it goes to Declan Smith. It may, well, it's advantage is going to Sean McDermott's. Conor McIlvany up to Paddy Kiernan, who's pushed in the back by Owen Sherry. 45 metres out near the sideline. Conor McIlvany to take the free. And Jerry McCarron is coming over to Martin O'Callaghan to, I think it is to him, to tell him about what time will be added on. I think it's to... We've played almost 29, so add 3 plus a few seconds to that. This is Damien Larkin. From out the field, has sent it wide. Has he? So a minimum of 2 minutes to be added on. Carrick Macross Emmets have got less than 3 minutes to hold on to this single point of a lead. Can the boys in saffron and white snatch an equaliser? It's nail-biting time. A wonderful second half display in midfield by James Conlon and the point kicking of Andrew Callan. The ingenuity of Declan Smith. That's what is Carrick Emmett's, that point in front at the moment. Plus some great defending as well, might I add. A field full of stars out there. Michael McGuinness laying the ball off, but it's out over the sideline and it's a Carrick line ball. Noel Swinburne, in it goes. Pádraig Rafferty to James Conlon. Too many steps. And the anxiety of Conor McIlvany to retrieve the ball. We've played a minute of stoppage time. Nudie Hughes is going to make another substitution. Stephen McIlvany. Stephen McIlvany is in. Stephen McIlvany is in. Conor McIlvany is about to take the kick. And Conor McIlvany's kick up down there by Derek McMahon. He gets a free. Paddy Kieran is the player who's gone off. There's less than 30 seconds to go. If Derek McMahon puts this over, there will be another day out. Heavens help this young man. But he's got a great left foot. Let's see, will he make me eat my words? It's a draw. The 2 minutes are up. We had an exciting senior semi-final and replay. We've had an equally exciting intermediate final. and unless something is strangely wrong, we will have another day. The gates are open, the patrons are going to it. There will be another day for Carrick Macross Emmets and for Sean McDermott's. And it's now 5 o'clock as we pick up a shot of well-known Cavan referee and a man very involved in the football promotion in Monaghan, Michael Henry. I was about to say it's 5 o'clock and well, we're at least a week, if not 2, away from knowing when or where the title will be going.
By independent people throughout the crowd. And the winner of the Man of the Match award for this season today is the Carrick captain, Terry Kiernan.
So Terry Kiernan, led by example, played a real captain's part, but I can tell you, Terry, you've won that and won it on merit because you had a lot of competition for it. Congratulations. With me now, I've got JP Graham. Didn't have a chance all this year so far, JP, to talk to you. The only thing I can say now is that it's going to be very, very easy to write about this final.
It certainly is, because it was a final that had everything that was good. It had some great football, some great fielding, great scores. It was close all through. The sides were level 5 or 6 times. The score that made the difference, I think, was the goal in the first half. Carrick Macross would look on it as a mistake. Sean McDermott would look on it as a great piece of opportunism by 2 of the Larkins. And, you know, games are won and lost on that, particularly close, tense championship matches. But it developed into a fantastic contest in the second half. I don't think anybody would quibble with a draw, because both sides had had periods of dominance and both sides came back then from, if you like, in different periods, and really I think a draw was overall quite a fair result.
Sean's went in 4 points to the good at half time. The reason being, I suppose, they had a monopoly of play around the middle of the field. They were fairly sharp in attack. But that second half, young James Conlon, a wonderful display that lifted everybody around him.
It certainly did. He had a great game in the second half. Some very, very good fielding. But Carrick Macross as a team started the second half very well. They got a few little things adjusted at half time. I was particularly impressed with the display of Terry Kiernan in the half backs. To me, he was my man of the match. He was always the man who was available. He was the man who was mopping up anytime things got a little bit untidy as the Seans would enter that last quarter of the field, and he was always using the ball to good effect, driving Carrick Macross forward. John Conlon likewise too had an absolutely brilliant game. But as you say, Carrick Macross got to grips with Sean McDermott's dominance in that key central diamond, and once they did that and played good ball forward to Declan Smith and Andrew Callan in particular, those two players I think combined extremely well in the second half. Carrick Macross were always building, and they had the 4 points deficit to make up. They made that up. took the lead twice then after that, and Sean McDermott actually were then playing catch up. But to be fair, they never gave up. They chased everything, and when the last chance came, they took it.
I just said, for Derek McMahon, heaven help him, it was a lot of responsibility on a young man's shoulders. He hit that last free with so much confidence, John.
Well, he did, but Derek is a very accomplished player. Derek has seen action now at all levels with Sean McDermott, and he has played minor with Monaghan. In fact, he even got a run with the Ulster squad for the under-17 compromise rules series. So Derek, while he's still very young, Derek has seen a lot of action. He knew that there was a little bit of pressure on him, but lads like that don't really count. They don't really count for him. He knew he could kick it. He took his time. He picked his spot on that. He said, right, it has to be between the posts. It was a last chance, but my money would have been on him scoring as opposed to him missing it. He's a good, cool, together young lad, and the Seans couldn't have had a better man taking a pressure kick.
It was a great senior final and a great senior final replay. Now a marvellous intermediate final, and we can't expect anything different from the replay. It'll be tense, it'll be close, and God knows who will yet emerge with the trophy.
Well, I certainly wouldn't like to be putting an awful lot of money on it as to who will emerge with the trophy, but what you say is perfectly correct. We had a great senior championship final this year. The replay was even better. The replay was probably one of the best senior county final matches for many, many years. The intermediate championship in Monaghan over the years, to be fair, has produced the best football of all the championships in the relatively recent years, and this intermediate final was no exception. The replay, as you say, certainly it'll be close. Both sides will have learned. Both sides will have said there are things we can change. You'll see a few changes on both teams for the replay, both in personnel and in the tactics that they are actually adopting. Sean McDermott will be happy overall with their defence. Andrew Callan, I think, probably stole a march on Paul Atchison after Atchison had a good enough start. But Carrick Macross, probably they will have a little bit of adjusting to do, but they'll have learned enough, and it's a whole new ball game.
It is, and they're both well ready for senior football.
Oh, they are indeed. Sean McDermott are looking to win their first ever intermediate championship. When they were known as 3 Mile House, they won an intermediate championship back in the 50s. I think it was 56, although I might stand corrected on that. Carrick Macross, they were the first ever winners of the Father Pat McCormick Cup in 1971, and they won another championship, I think maybe it was sometime in the 80s. They were looking for their third title. So Sean McDermott, they certainly have been the form team in intermediate. The intermediate double is on, and certainly the team that wins the intermediate championship, either of them, they're well capable of moving up to senior ranks.
JP Graham, you're a mine of information. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Let's hope that we can do that soon again.
Well, with hopefully, and I think if the replay probably will be back here in Clontibret, although we can't take that as gospel, but certainly any time that we can have a chat, it's always a pleasure.
JP Graham, Goramilla Market. So, from O'Neill Park in Clontibret, after what I would describe as a very entertaining and enthralling final, we'll say Slán agus Beannacht.